Bibi Netanyahu is loudly protesting that the Biden peace plan that Biden says Bibi proposed didn't come from Bibi because it does not include the dismantling of Hamas and a guarantee that they will never rule Gaza again. Bibi's right, but will he be able to stand up to Biden long term when Biden is threatening cutoffs of military aid almost on the daily? Claire, we've touched on this a few times today and over the past weeks about the hostages being held by Hamas, some literally in cages. There's video of that, in brutal conditions, chained underground, unable to move. I can't even imagine how horrible it is. Just yesterday, 4 more were declared dead, and they had been executed apparently in the tunnels. And Israel knows that because they were shown in videos earlier, and now their bodies have been recovered and they were killed. The part I'm very confused about is there's no proof of life on these 100 odd maybe remaining alive. There may be as little as a half a dozen left alive. A video came out the other day, actually about a week and a half ago, and it was followed up by an audio of the same person. But other than that, nobody knows if there are any hostages alive. The big complaint in the Israeli press, I read a number of articles today, is Israelis are very, very frustrated with their own army moving so slowly under instructions and threats from the Biden administration. Instead of turning the IDF loose, which they could have conquered Rafah in a couple of days, it's weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks because they're not moving in the heavy stuff. They're not moving in and flooding Rafah with large amounts of troops. What would you advise them to do, considering the fact that Biden threatens Israel almost daily?
Yeah, they're being put in an impossible situation. But I think a lot of credit has to go to Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and his war cabinet that so far he has managed to hold together despite disagreements among them, which is natural. But what he has pledged over and over again, and in response as well to this most recent ceasefire proposal, he sticks to his core 3 demands that Barry, you mentioned a little while ago, and that is the complete dismantlement of any capabilities by Hamas to govern in Gaza or to exert any kind of military capability in Gaza or against Israel ever again. And of course, the release of hostages, whether alive or not, but we don't even have, a list of who may yet be held in those tunnels, living or not. That's part of what Hamas is doing to cause, just absolute trauma to the Israeli families whose loved ones these are. But what the Israeli army, the IDF, has done really has been remarkable, operating under such circumstances. And I think one of the most remarkable parts about that has been the movement of Gazans, civilian non-combatants, out of Rafah, back northward into prepared enclaves, humanitarian safe zones, where they are provided food and water and medical care as needed and safety. And that was done in a matter of weeks, not months or years, in a matter of weeks, leaving inside of Rafah right now basically only Hamas or other jihadi fighters and very few civilians, whether they're combatants or not. I think that was a remarkable achievement and done really, as you say, under pressure, especially from the Biden administration. And in doing that, the IDF has not only reached the center of Rafah, we are hearing from reporting, but also taken control of the entirety of the 8.7-mile long Philadelphia corridor that sits between southern Gaza and Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. So I think they've accomplished a lot, and remarkably so. But it has been slower than otherwise would have been the case under pressure from the Biden administration. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to follow up. What would you tell Bibi to do if you had his ear?
I mean, exactly what he is doing. Methodically, okay, perhaps a little bit slowly, slower than we would want to see, but methodically moving into Rafah, the entirety of Rafah, going into the tunnels. They're down there on foot inside those tunnels, looking for remaining Hamas fighters, looking for, of course, the hostages, but blocking. This is more important, I think, than anything, and I kind of wonder why it wasn't done sooner, but okay. And that was taking control of the Philadelphia corridor, under which now they have found at least, I mean, many dozens of tunnels, but at least 20 that crossed over from the Sinai, from Egyptian territory, into Gaza, which means those were tunnels through which weapons, ammunition, and other supplies were sent to Hamas. And there's no way on earth that President al-Sisi, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and the Egyptian government did not know about those and probably profited from them in terms of smuggling fees. So I think that the Israeli Defense Forces are doing exactly what they need to do, albeit, yes, slower than any of us would have liked to have seen, but they're accomplishing the mission.
Slowly, and at great expense to the IDF.
That is
And
true.
probably they're losing extra troops because of it.
No question about that. Yes.